Coming up next, tell you what skill will future-proof your career, and then I'll unpack 3 actions that'll help you beat the imposter syndrome. We'll take your calls and your chats. It starts now. Coming to you live from Ramsey Studios in Nashville. I'm Ken, and you are joining a conversation about who you are, what you were created to do, where you want to do it, and how you can get there. Hope you are hopeful today. Hope you have a spirit of, hey, I'm here, I'm engaged in a conversation that's about me and my unique role at work, because that's what it is about. It is all about you and your contribution, not just you, not the selfish ambition, but a selfless ambition to drive you to be the person you were created to be, to contribute to the world with your talent. That's what you do best. With your passion, that's work you really love, and your mission, results that matter deeply to you. What are those results? What is that unique role? We're going to help you figure that out. 844-747-2577. 844-747-2577. You can also submit your question anytime during the show in the chat window, right there next to the video window. Also, while you are watching, if you're enjoying the show and you feel like this is helpful to you and it might be helpful to others, give us a thumbs up right there below the window. Feel free to make your comments and share the show and subscribe as well. All of that can be done in just one quick click right there below the video window. So thank you for being with us. So what is the indispensable skill that will future-proof your career? A great article from Fast Company. The World Economic Forum has declared cognitive flexibility as one of the top skills needed to excel in the 2020 workplace. So there it is, cognitive flexibility. Cognitive flexibility. You don't hear that very often. Fancy words. What does it actually mean? Well, there's a guy by the name of Rand Spiro, a professor and the originator of cognitive flexibility theory. He describes it as the ability to spontaneously restructure one's knowledge in many ways as an adaptive response to changing situational demands. All right. Lots of multi-syllable words there. 50-cent words. Let me Ken Coleman it up for you. In other words, simplify it. It simply means the talent to respond to changing situations. That's it. All right, so you go, okay, great, Ken, thanks. Why are you sharing this? Well, there's more to this. It is deeper. Now, I simplified it, but there's tremendous, tremendous value here. Let me give you some examples. So let's take a consultant. I'm going to pick 2 different roles, if you will, and let you see how this works. So let's take a consultant. So a consultant has multiple clients, could have multiple meetings in a day with multiple clients. And so the ability to shift gears, what's needed in meeting A may not be needed in meeting B, and thus something else will be needed. So we're talking about the adaptability, not just in attitude, okay, I know I've got to adapt, but the adaptability in skill, all right? I'm going to be diving in on this skill in this meeting, but I need this skill in a different meeting. And the other role that I think is kind of fun is, let's look at a creative person. So we're in Nashville, the Music City. So let's take a songwriter. A songwriter and the skills they'll use when they're on their own versus the skills they'll use in a group session. Very different. They'll be called upon to adapt in an environment where they are writing with other writers and collaborating. So there's a adaptability that's necessary there. And again, when we talk about skills, we're talking about hard skills, soft skills. All right. So hard skills those are the transferable, think operational skills where you're doing something. And the soft skills are being something. Okay, those are the personal skills. A little bit more on this. there was a seminal study done by Bernice Udison on Nobel Prize winning scientists. This is just to nail this point home. Nobel laureates were studied over multiple decades, and they were 25 times more likely than the average scientist to either sing, dance, or act. 17 times more likely to be a visual artist. 12 times more likely to write poetry or literature. 8 times more likely to do woodwork. Now, what's the takeaway here? This was an avocational skill, but cognitively it helped them. So a skill outside of their day-to-day work skill made them better in their day-to-day work. The evidence is glaring. So what does it mean to you, the worker, in 2020? We've been talking a lot about this. I'm going to continue to beat this drum. Once you know your top skills, where your strength areas lie, you want to adapt and build those skill sets, because the cognitive flexibility, the ability to adapt and change skills like tools. It's like a tool belt. Oh, don't need the hammer in this meeting. I need the screwdriver. Oh, don't need the screwdriver. I need the tape measure here. That's the idea. Expand that tool belt, and you're going to set yourself up to win big in the future. 844-747-2577 is the number. 844-747-2577. If you're feeling like you're an imposter, stay tuned a little bit later in the program. I'm going to give you 3 simple actions that will help you beat the imposter syndrome back. But first, to the phones we go. 844-747-2577, Youngstown, Ohio. Mike is there. Mike, you're on the Ken Coleman Show.
Ken, my man, it's an honor to be on here, and I really want to appreciate you taking my call.
Yeah, man. Well, I appreciate you listening. What's going on?
Well, I am 26 years old. I live in Youngstown, and man, I really just need some help, some guidance. Okay. Trying to figure out what I want to do next, what I want to do next in life. Right. I graduated from college with a degree in exercise science, and I went into that degree because I really have always enjoyed being active and staying fit, being healthy, looking into all that kind of stuff. I really enjoy that. But when I got out of school, it was tough around here to find some work in that field. I didn't know what direction to go into. I really wasn't sure, so I took a position at a job that has nothing really to do with that, but it gave me stability. It gave me insurance. It gave me good position just to work my way to save some money up. But I think I'm just getting to the point where I really want to make a change, but there's something just holding me back. I don't know what to do next.
Okay. What's holding you back? Do you have any idea? Any clues? If you had to take a guess?
I guess I just have like a fear of making maybe like a bad decision and then set myself back because, I don't have a lot of like financial leeway, but I've just always been the type of person where I want to make sure I'm doing the right thing before I do something.
Yeah. Well, I think you're afraid of failing, and I think financial failure is probably the biggest fear, right?
I mean, absolutely. Okay. I've always,
So you're just a sensible guy, and I think safety is also a high value for you. Is that correct? Is that your personality?
Safety in like what manner? Like, what do you mean?
I just mean, you're not a guy that's a very risk oriented. You want to do things super, super smart. We want to eliminate risk everywhere we can. Yes or no? Is that who you are?
I believe so, because I mean, it's going back to the same reason why I think I took this job.
It's 100% why you did it.
It was the safer choice, right?
Yeah. So here's what's interesting. You're just out of school and you've never worked in the field that you went to get a degree in. And what's good news for me hearing you tell your story is that the degree you got, exercise science, lines up with some passion of yours. You love diving into physical fitness and nutrition and things of that nature. So there's alignment there. And yet you didn't have a great opportunity that seemed really smart when you got out with that exercise science degree. So you know what you did? You went, oh boy, I'm going to be a loser. I'm going to be a flake if I don't get a good, safe job. And you went and got a good, safe job. And I suspect, Mike, that your soul is slowly seeping out of your body, if not quickly seeping out of your body. Is that true?
I just have, yeah.
You can feel it all over
days
you.
Where I'm like,
yeah, that's why you just exhale.
Have days where I'm like, man, yeah.
Okay, but listen, Mike, let's just pause everything right now. Let's pause that safety muscle of yours that's just flaring like crazy right now. Okay?
Right. Yeah.
What would you do tomorrow if I make any phone call? I can make any phone call you want me to make, and on the other end of that phone call is a job, and you can't fail, and it makes you good money. What would you do?
See, I don't know.
Come on, Mike.
I don't...
Forget title. What would you be doing during the day? What would you be doing? What would be the engagement? What would the work be? What would the result of the work be? Just tell me that. Forget title. What would you be doing?
I would have to say something with athletics, something with making sure people, any age range, whether it's athletes, whether it's geriatrics, whether it's pediatrics, whether it's any age range, they felt good about themselves. They felt like they could conquer their day. They felt like they could feel good about their day and their living situation. And me seeing that in them would help me.
But we're talking about
life, knowing that I did my best with them.
Yeah. So we're talking about health, correct?
I hope, yeah.
No, I mean, I'm not trying to be tricky. I just want to make sure when you said feel good about their life, you mean their health and fitness, correct?
It could be health physically, it could be mentally, it could be, I mean, I'm into any of that.
All right, so here's the point. Okay, so you at least have a direction. You know what the mountaintop is. The mountaintop for you is at the end of every day, you know that you actively engaged in work that help people get physical, mental, or emotional breakthrough. Can we at least say that?
Yeah, that sounds great.
That sounds great. Okay, good. So that's our so that's our mountaintop, right? That's the pinnacle professionally for you. Okay? That includes all the things. It allows you to use what you do best, your talent. You're talented in that area. It allows you to do work you love. That's passion. You're passionate about the instructing and guiding and teaching, correct?
Yeah.
And encouraging, I'll throw that one in there as well. Is that am I on track?
Yes. Can I add to that as
Please.
well?
Please. I'm trying to get you opened up, man.
Right. And I appreciate that, Ken. Well, I come from a family of a lot of athletics, and that's another reason why I got drawn to it. My dad, my grandpa, they played a lot of basketball. My grandpa played college ball. My dad has been a coach throughout his whole life, and I've been able to coach with him. I've been able to do that with him as a side coach on his staff, and it's been awesome. It's been great because I work with the sport I love. I work with kids. I see them getting better in something, and I see how they are working. They're working their tail off. I think it just goes back to that safe choice. I don't have a way to do that right now to make that like a living, and I'm trying to figure that out. How much money
do you need to make?
Well, ideally, I would love to live like West Coast, and I would love to live South where, I don't know, I could live comfortably. Like, I've never been a type of person where I want to make How much? I need a number. I need a number. You're a young guy. You're only 26. Are you single? I'm in a relationship, but not married.
You're single.
Yeah, I got a girl.
You're single.
Yes.
How much money do you need to make? What's the bottom? I'm not talking ideal. I'm talking, see, you can't think in terms of ideal, Mike. You know, I'm for you, dude. I am so for you. You know what the problem is? You're too busy thinking instead of doing. That's the problem. Okay? I try to give you a straightforward question, and you're off into safety, perfect, ideal, and that's not where you are, man. You are at the beginning of your career. You are on the bottom rung of the ladder. You're 26 and you live in Youngstown. Okay?
Yeah.
Dude,
yep.
I don't know what the number is. If it's 30, 35, 40 grand, I don't care. If you got to work 2 jobs, right now, if you want to get into that coaching game, you have to figure out next steps are, do I want to coach people in sports? Do I want to coach them in health and fitness? Do I want to coach them in mental and emotional health? That was the pinnacle. And so hang on the line. Madison, let's make sure that he goes to kencoleman.com right now and he downloads the free Career Clarity Guide. I got him started. He needs to get through this a little bit more, and he needs the reflection time. And then he needs to give him a copy of the Proximity Principle. Mike, you probably already know about it. You may already have the book. But what I want you to do is you have got to spend some time with people that are winning in those areas that we just discussed. And in doing so, you're clarifying what's involved day to day, how they got there, what qualifications you need, which I think you probably know, how much that's going to cost, and how long it's going to take. That's what you need to do right now. That's going to reveal the plan for you going forward. And then you adjust your life around what you have to do so that you can get to where you want to be and do what you want to do. So this is all about stop being scared, focus on action, and get after it. This is a clear path for you. I think it's more sports and fitness and exercise, but I want you to go verify. See, all that clarifying I just said is going to verify. Your heart's going to go bing. Let's go to Melissa, who is on the line in Orlando, Florida. Melissa, you're on the Ken Coleman Show.
Hi, Ken. How are you?
Melissa, I am living the dream. What's up?
Hey, so I have a question. My sister and I, we finished your book, and we're teachers, and we have written a curriculum about the past 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
And we have kind of a sort of acquaintance that we barely know.
Mm-hmm.
And she runs an online model for math that we would love to kind of follow your advice and go and just pick her brain.
Mm-hmm.
But every time we sit down to write the email and, hey, you kind of do what we want to do, but we always feel like it's coming across almost not threatening, but we just don't want to feel like we're being competitive with her.
Do you have a competitive product?
I do. Well, we do kind of. It's more, she's more of a math side where we're working more on the English language side.
Well, hold on a second.
And so
hold on. I just want to dive in a little bit longer. So does she offer a English language or what did you call it again?
It's like an online learning platform.
No, I know, but you're in a different topic area than she is. She's not offering something in your topic field.
Correct. Absolutely not.
So you're not competing.
Okay.
Am I right or am I wrong? She's offering something in the math space and you're offering something in the grammar language space, correct?
Correct. Absolutely correct.
Well, you're not competing.
Okay. So we should feel comfortable to be hi, friend,
Yeah, say, hey.
We just want to come and get a lunch.
Yeah, you know what? Start off with something. Hey, we read a best-selling book called The Proximity Principle that really encouraged us to try to spend time with people we admire and look up to. High-level producers in similar field. And while we're not offering math education, we want to get in this other space, and we think you're awesome. We've done research on you, and we think you rock, and we want to be like you one day. Would you ever be willing to do a Skype or a Zoom call or coffee or lunch? I'd lead like that. Make her feel special in the first paragraph.
Okay.
And point out that you're not offering math programs.
Okay. Definitely bring that up. We talked it a couple different times, and we just kind of feel awkward.
I get it.
You know how it is when you put yourself out there.
Well,
you went over that in your book.
100%.
And so
I put the awe in awkward when I did this stuff.
Well, we might stop you.
Go for it. Look, that's that. You remember the chapter on being audacious versus being obnoxious?
Yes.
That's the point here.
Yeah, we don't want her. We don't want to ask for her job like you did with that poor soul.
Yes, right. I did it wrong. I did it wrong, so you can do it right. And I understand your emotion. That's normal. But no, I don't think that you're being obnoxious. I don't think you've got it in you to be obnoxious because you're so sensitive to it. Is this person in your town, or are they in a different city?
They're very close to our town, within an hour, definitely.
Oh my gosh, I would really. Can I just tell you to hold on the email? I'd like to see if you could find a personal connection where somebody makes a phone call on your behalf. I'd like you to try that before you send the email. The email's not a bad idea, and it's certainly not ineffective. I don't think it's the best strategy. I would try. Now, again, COVID sensitive, even if you could sit together in a park somewhere 6 feet apart, it'd be great to get that face-to-face with her. But my point is this, whether you meet in person or via Zoom, if somebody else makes the connection for you first, as opposed to you all sending a cold email, that's the point I'm making. I think that would be more effective.
Okay.
But yeah, listen, who doesn't feel honored when somebody goes, hey, I want to spend time with you and pick your brain, and you're not competing directly, maybe indirectly at best.
Okay.
But yeah, love your spirit and spunk. Love it. Go, Melissa, go. 844-747-2577. Let's go to the chat room. Ruben writes in, what change in career can you recommend that doesn't take a lot of school at 40? This is so open-ended, but I want to try to serve. Certainly, the first thing that comes to my mind are the trades. So working, if you've got skills with your brain, you're a problem solver with your brain and your hands, then you're probably going to be good at trades. The trades do not require a bunch of schooling. You're talking about basically training and certification, maybe some on the job. What do they call it? Not mentorship, apprenticeships, things of that nature. Certainly, being in health services is a career that does not require school and can be lucrative to the point. Now, I shouldn't say lucrative. That means a lot of different things to a lot of different people. You can have a solid pay. And what I mean by health services is you're not the health professional, but you serve the health professional. So think hospital positions where, again, you're not providing medical care, but you are serving the medical professionals. Those are just two quick examples, because I could go on and on and on with those type of things. But again, I'd really prefer that you go to my website and get the Career Clarity Guide and walk through it. It's free, and it's going to look at talent, passion, mission. Talent, what you do best. Passion, the work you love to do. Mission, the results of that work that means something deeply to you. The clues are going to be within the sweet spot for you. Your unique role, once you figure that out in the sweet spot, then you're going to have a lot of clues there. Let's go to Kat. How do I encourage my dad to find his place? He loves what he does, hates the people, but he is resistant to leave and find something new due to being there 18 years. Okay, this is good news, Kat, in that your dad loves the work. So he is passionate about the work. He knows what his passion is, and clearly he knows what he's good at. So he's got the talent and the passion, and I would suggest he's got the mission, because that work he loves also creates a result that has some meaning for him. So he's in the right place. He's doing the right thing in the wrong place. When we have people take the Should I Quit My Job quiz, which is free at kencoleman.com, have him take it. It's about 3 minutes and 20 questions, and it's going to nudge him out the door. So one way to do it is go, hey, Dad, I listened to this show, and they got a free thing called Should I Quit My Job quiz. I think you should take it. And it's going to spit out a report for him. He's going to come out in one of 4 categories, and he's, in my estimation, it'll be so clear to him that he's doing the right thing in the wrong place, because he doesn't like the people. He doesn't like the culture. So, simple. Dad doesn't have to learn much new at all. He knows what he's good at. He knows what he likes to do. He doesn't have to figure that out and get clear. This is just a function of him changing locations. And so the way I would do it if I were you is have him take the Should I Quit My Job quiz. Hopefully that's an objective nudge for him. And the second thing is I'd go and do some research for him. Find that job that he's in right now. Find it in 3 or 4 different places and go one more step further. Do some research on those 3 or 4 places, whatever you find. Do some research. Talking to current employees, customers, vendors, online, see what's out there, and prove to him that it's a really good culture, really good people, and a lot of people love to work there. Those 3 things will really, I think, help your dad get over the fear of change, because that's what it boils down to. He's miserable, but he loves misery more than he does change, and that's the problem. Talk to him about it, encourage him. But those things are really going to help him. 844-747-2577. 844-747-2577. We'll get to Tyronne in Fort Lauderdale in just a few moments, but I want to quickly run through 3 actions that'll help all of you. It's helped me beat the imposter syndrome. Now, the imposter syndrome is just a fancy way of saying you have massive doubt that you yourself can actually pull off what you're trying to pull off. So you think everybody else sees this as well. And you're going, oh my gosh, it's only a matter of time before everybody figures out that I'm an imposter, that I'm trying to do something that I can't do. I actually don't have what it takes. That's what the imposter syndrome sounds like. And it's debilitating because you feel like that just any moment in the day, you're going to be exposed. Can you imagine? Think of it. It's like a criminal who's constantly just on the run. In any given moment, they're going to be found out and they're going to be arrested. It has that same emotional weight to it. So, 3 simple actions that will help you beat the imposter syndrome. Here we go. Number 1, facts over feelings. You have got to focus on the facts. I talk about this a lot when it comes to fear and doubt. Fear and doubt are liars. They're cousins. They're evil cousins, and they hang out together. All right? And fear goes, this right here, this thing is going to cause you harm. That's what fear is basically saying. Doubt says, retreat, you can't do this. What are you doing? This is not smart. You can't do this. This is silly. That's what doubt says. So they sound a lot alike. They work together. All right. And so the idea here is that they're telling you a lie. So what do? We have to focus on the facts. So our feelings are extremely real, folks. I am not in any way minimizing your feelings. I'm not minimizing my feelings. When I feel doubt, I own it. I go, oh gosh, I'm swamped right now in doubt. Swamped. And I have to just get real. So what do? I focus on the facts instead of my feelings. That's the first action. Second action, filter your failure. So inevitably, the imposter syndrome really gets strong and rears its ugly head in the midst of or right after some type of a failure. This didn't work out. I got rejected. This just bombed. It was an utter disaster. Didn't go the way I wanted to go. Whatever the failure is. That's when the imposter syndrome pops up and goes, see, I told you, you didn't listen to me. Don't you hate that sing-songy crap? That's what it does. So filter the failure instead of soaking in the failure. And just sit there and in the bath of failure and go, oh, woe is me. I'm awful. What was I thinking? That's what doubt, the imposter syndrome, wants you to believe. We got to filter the failure. All right, look, I failed. This is part of life, part of moving forward. So I'm going to filter it. What didn't work? Why didn't it work? What can I learn from this? What do I remove from the process going forward? What do I need to improve going forward? Okay. Now, the third action, focus forward. Now, once we have delineated, we've got our facts and we're focusing on the facts, on our feelings. And now we're owning the failure instead of being scared of it and wallowing in it. We're learning from it. We're filtering it. The third action, focus forward. Now we get to move forward. Hey, that was in my past. I'm better for it. I still got a vision based on my passion and my mission, and I'm going to move forward. Focus your eyes forward, not backward. It's time to move on. Those 3 actions, facts over feelings, filter your failure, focus forward. Guaranteed to push the imposter syndrome away. It's like a coat. It's like a really ugly coat or a blanket we wear. Shed the blanket. Throw it off. The imposter syndrome is just that. It's a syndrome. It's not a disease. You can get over it. You can push through it. And those 3 simple actions right there work every time. I know. I still use them. And they'll work for you. 844-747-2577 is the number. 844-747-2577. Let's go to Tyronne. Sorry, I didn't read that well. Tyronne, who is joining us in Fort Lauderdale. Tyronne, you're on the Ken Coleman Show.
Hey, Ken, how you doing?
Man, I am living the dream. What's going on with you?
I'm doing pretty good, Ken. I've been listening into your show for a couple of weeks now. Great stuff, great resources. Thank you for having this type of platform.
You bet.
The reason I'm calling in is because, I'm trying to see how I can navigate this current pandemic we're all coping with. I'm a 33-year-old male. I have a 2-year-old. I'm married. And I'm not exactly working in my field. I'm working for a shipping company. I have a background in communication and a passion for writing. And I'm just looking for guidance to see where I need to go.
Okay. Where do you want to go?
I'd like to do something on the creative side because writing's always been my gift, my passion. I've done freelance writing in the past, whether it was volunteer, whether it was for, whether I was paid for it. And it just allowed me to kind of create stories. I've done a couple of skits for my church, like a Christmas play, Easter play, and those things I really get a joy for. And it doesn't require someone to pay me for it. It just allows me to be creative.
That's beautiful, man. Tyronne, that's beautiful, man. You know what? You're very clear. I think the only clarity that you've got to work on in stage 1 so that you can begin to move into stage 2, which is get qualified, and you might already be qualified. But I'm curious to know what the 30-year dream is. Give me the pinnacle, man. The very top of the mountain. I mean, professionally. Wow. Yeah. And listen, don't hold back right now because we know we're not there. And I'm telling you, I believe you can get there. But we don't know until we identify the pinnacle and then we back down the mountain and we go, how would we get there? What would need to be true for that to happen? That's what I want to know. Just dream it. Say it.
Being able to publish more books, because I self-published my first one.
What'd you write about?
It's titled Acronyms of Success. And it's just a self-help kind of encouragement book, but it has a spiritual meaning behind it.
Great. Is that the kind of stuff you want to write?
Yes, because I want something that's going to glorify God, but at the same time encourage readers.
Yeah.
And, something that's definitely going to help them get to the next level.
Great. Okay.
That's what I enjoyed.
So who are your favorite? Give me 2 of your favorite authors in that space that you just described. It's your space. Who are 2 of your favorite authors? And don't say, Dave Ramsey or anybody from this building. I want you to say who your 2 favorite authors or 3 favorite authors in that space are. Go.
Gosh. I'd have to say Tony Evans is one.
Great. Love Tony.
And I read so many different things, so that's fine.
It's okay. Don't lock up. Don't lock up. Just give me 2 more names. You can change the list later. This is an exercise. Okay, never mind.
Langston Hughes, Maya Angelou.
There we go. Okay. Now, this was an exercise. You can change the names later. All right, now, Tyronne, here's why this is important. You have got to begin to really digest your favorite writers in this space. And it becomes now a daily discipline. And the reason is by filling yourself up, pouring into you the stuff that moves your heart, that ignites your mind on behalf of others. That's what has to happen. And then your writing will develop as a result of that. You will develop your voice. You will develop your methodology. You will develop your mission as a result of getting super specific about the content that you want to provide. And the stuff you want to provide, you got to look to those who are providing it. You write what moves your heart. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
And you know what it is, but that's step 1. Now, here's some exciting news, and here is some maybe sobering news.
Give me the sobering news first.
Oh, I love you, dude. Hey, listen, I'm wired that way. I'm that way too. Here's the sobering news. This is going to take you a while.
Okay.
You don't just become a self-sustaining author overnight. It is hard to sell books. Can I just tell you?
Yes.
All right. It's not an easy deal. So you will have to develop first your voice. All right. Now, then when I say voice, I mean that one clarifying statement that if you could only sing one statement from the mountaintop, what is it? And you've listened to my show long enough to probably guess what mine is. You got to have your voice, right? And my voice is, you are created to fill a unique role. You are needed. You must do it. That's my voice. That's all I want to shout. Now, then we get into message, right? Mm-hmm. And then we get into methodology. All right. And so then that will inform everything that you write. Now, it's going to take some time. So understand that this is a side hustle. This is the dream job, and you're going to have to find a better day job where you're not miserable and you can take care of your family, because this is realistically 5 to 10 years of just getting after it. It took me 9 years to get to my dream job. Radio, writing books, best-selling books to the point where people are buying your books and can take care of your family off of selling books. That's going to take time. That's the sobering part. The exciting part is I believe you can do it, and I know you can get there. But you're going to have to write on the side and speak and do other things and media and maybe a podcast. I don't know what your path is going to be, but you're going to have to stick with it for a while. That is the reality. Now, let me just throw a caveat out there. Let's say that Tyronne does all those things. Okay? It's possible that Tyronne writes a book and in the first 2 years it goes bananas. So this could happen, but don't expect that to happen. That would be my caveat. Write like it's the greatest book you'll ever write, but know that it might not be. So, nobody knows how the audience is going to receive it, but that's not why we write it. We don't write it for how they clamor on about it. We write it so they can actually use it and make their life better. That's why we write. Do we want people to say great things about the book? Yeah. But at the end of the day, what's more important? Is it compliments or impact? It's impact. The compliments come as a result of the impact. So you focus on the impact. One last thing. This is for Tyronne and for the rest of the audience. If you're in Tyronne's position where you want to create thoughts and make a living, please do yourself a favor and buy the little small book called Steal Like an Artist by Austin Kleon. Austin Kleon wrote this little book, and it is such a game changer. It'll take you about 10 minutes to read through, but it'll really get your mind in a place where I took Tyronne. And you have got to write or create what inspires you. And then when you do that, there are a lot of other people out there that are inspired by what you're inspired by. That's how you write and create. And so who inspires you? Just get on a diet plan where you're just consuming all of their stuff. And as it inspires you, your heart, guess what? Your brain gets connected to it. And then you will begin to distill the thoughts, say them in a different way. We're not talking about plagiarizing here. We're talking about being influenced, as all the great artists were by other artists. So, good stuff today. Tyronne, I'm really proud of you. You will get there, but you must day job it and dream job it. That's just the way this is going to happen. But when you get there, and you will, it is going to be so sweet. The longer the journey, the greater the significance, because it means something to you. You had to fight and claw and stick with it. It is the process, the journey, not the destination, that gives us the meaning and the significance. So I don't know what your pinnacle is. I don't know what your path is, but I do know this. If you choose to walk the path and scale your mountain to reach your pinnacle, where your purpose resides. It will be worth every second, I promise. My time is almost up, but before I let you go, you matter, and you do have what it takes. Thank you so much for joining us. Until next time, this is the Ken Coleman Show. Press on.